Greetings, fellow craftsmen. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to ASKA, Episode 10, Planning for Industries. Is there any value in keeping the gathering hut once you've established farming and hunting? Yes. So there's some things that you can't be farmed, like mushrooms. So if you want like mushroom soup or mushrooms as an ingredient. And then additionally, you might run out of seeds, and a gatherer hut allows you to source new seeds. So I might not keep the gatherer's hut where it is, as it's no longer a critical structure of the colony, and instead break it down and move it off to the side. But I'll probably only do that when I need to place other critical structures and it's in the way. Cheers. So now my woodcutters are, oh wow, they are already up there. They wasted no time at all. Looks like a workshop hut will be next. So it's my second workshop hut, but it is, there's technically 5 different extensions you can build off the workshop hut, but one of them is a dye maker, which allows you to like paint your buildings, which is not, I mean, it's purely aesthetic. So if you want me to build a dye maker, I'll consider it, but I'm probably not going to consider it until I have all the other like mission critical ones built first. Just because, you know, I'm not going to invest a lot of resources into like painting my buildings. Just how it is. This road also seems to have gotten a little diminished as a result of possible building projects around it. Like it's think of the road as like painted terrain that you can accidentally cover. So I queued up another road so that I can make sure that there's the stamina bonus for that area. Ow. We're both doing it. I'm gonna beat you! I got it first. Yeah, so you can see the roads getting a little bit more prominent and wider going over it again. Alright, the last part of this is the 2 roofs over the extensions. They're not too expensive of a project. And then once those roofs are done, we'll work on the workshop hut. So the priority is... Well, you know what? It might be the fact that I, like, accidentally grabbed the hoe and hit the road myself. Build a warehouse and new workshop hut. So one thing to note is, due to the walls of the warehouse, you can see it's a long building. And the reason I point this out is you'd have to travel on it. So when laying out a workshop hut, keep that in mind. Or like if I put a workshop hut, like let's say here, it has access to this part of the warehouse quickly. So maybe I'll do this. And I know it completely covers up one of the roads I have, but I'm okay with that. I could also, no, this works fine. So I'm going to start supplying the root. Well, maybe I'll unpin that. Huh. Well, we'll build the warehouse first, and then I'll worry about the layout. Does Does the warehouse get anything modeled in the interior? Yes, and I'll show you that in just a moment. In fact, right now it does nothing, the way I have it laid out. The warehouses in this game are really different than most of the other games that I've ever played, in that you actually build the storage facilities yourself. So if I'm standing in it and go to the build screen and go to storage, if I wanted to, let's say, store logs, here is log storage, and I can put log storage down. So there's like a certain amount of room inside the warehouse that you can build these storage objects, and you want to make it so that you can actually walk through the building so that they can get access to it. But so this warehouse is, the intention for this warehouse is to supply carpentry with logs and long sticks and long carpentry materials and large carpentry materials, as well as weapons and tool racks, possibly arrow storage, and then small crafting material storage, and broken metal parts storage. And there's plenty of room for that, but like that's how the warehouse works, is you actually just place down like essentially pallets or designated areas for specific materials. So the side of this warehouse, that one of the edges should be butting up right against carpentry, so that there's the carpenters can draw from the materials quickly to work efficiently. And this is only just to remind you all, this is because carpentry is one of those things you're going to need an insane amount of, and you could build multiple carpenters, but it's a little bit cheaper just to lay it out so that your a carpenter works efficiently, rather than to have like 3 of them or something like that. The other thing is you can put the carpenter on the other side of this building, rather than to encroach on the outhouse and the Eye of Odin. And perhaps that's what I'll end up doing. Building it on this side instead. And then probably moving the woodcutter's hut to this side as well. Because even if the warehouse has log storage, it doesn't hurt to have the woodcutter also be really close to your carpenter, so that your carpenter can draw materials from either the woodcutter or the storage, depending on whoever has it in stock. Is there space behind the warehouse from the big road? Barely. I think I know what you mean, and there's not exactly ample space. The speed of leveling up your skills is really nice, except for crafting. I wish crafting was faster, but everything else goes pretty quick. So the reason I wanted to build this is to give you an idea of what the layout of the carpenter will be like when it's done. Because it has where its roofs are sort of static, and where the walls are, you don't really decide. But actually, I do, now that I think about it a little bit more, I think it does make sense to have the workshop hut be on the other side, the far side of this building, so that it doesn't get close to the cottages here. Because if I put a workshop here, the workshop might get too close to the cottages and ruin the morale bonus of the cottages. So it's a little bit more effort to clear cut some of the forest on the other side, but I think in the long run it's going to be way better morale-wise. For people not to live near a bloomery and a metalworker. Oh, I keep forgetting the raffle too. Oh my god. Yes, thank you for reminding me. It shouldn't have to be reminded, but raffle timer's up again for Alva, who never got raffled. Dear Lord. Okay, so we have the layout of the warehouse, and let's build the workshop hut. Build a new workshop hut is the current priority, and I'm going to put the workshop hut out here. And then afterwards, we might want to consider moving our woodcutter hut out this way as well, to be closer to carpentry. The other thing to note is, actually, we might not need to clear this area out. I'm going to finish cutting down this tree, but then I'm going to analyze whether this is even necessary or not, because it might not be. Yeah, this time for real. Once that timer's up above my head that says 4 minutes, like, yell at me, chat, to be like, hey, idiot, raffle the thing. Because I really don't... I've forgotten more times than ever before. So, what I was alluding to here is that the carpenter is an extension that goes off of the workshop hut. So what we can do is actually have it be parallel to the warehouse instead of off on the side, and I think that is not unreasonable. Oops, just destroyed firewood. So what I mean by that is if we put the... no, that's not the thing. The workshop hut, like here, the extension on the left, or on the left over there, can be the carpenter, and then the carpenter will be very close to the wood storage that's here. Or the inverse. I'll put it on the right. Maybe that makes more sense. Put it towards the woods. And therefore, it can draw very quickly from log storage that's laid out here. And I actually, I think I like that design more than anything else that I've thought about. So I'm going to do that. Which means flattening out this swath and making the area ready. But I think that will allow for really efficient carpentry, which is so important. I cannot stress enough how important that is. I wouldn't be repeating it incessantly if it wasn't, like, vital because of the amount of carpentry tasks that you end up with as you grow. The design I just came up with is pretty much perfect and ideal. And it's way too hard to show you why until I actually have the carpenter built, but it's solely because of how... just trust me. That's all I'm going to say. I know how the buildings are laid out and where the structures are and how they interact with them. So using that knowledge, I can plan for something that I can't physically show you yet. Character's starting to get hungry. Let's check in with the kitchen. So what I would like to do is to flatten out a little section back here as well. But my builders are still on break, so we're waiting for them to get back to work. How am I lighting this with no fuel? What are my thoughts about the game? Quite a lot of fun if you like if you like the genre. Alright, this time, I am actually doing the raffle. If you can believe that or not. And my builders have been busy enough that they haven't actually been able to do the lantern keeping, so I'm just doing the lantern keeping for them to keep the smokers away, so that smokers don't eat my berries and other things I'm growing. Okay, it is autumn, and I'm going to need to fix the farm plants, because we're growing things that don't grow in autumn now. And I think to that end, my farm plants are going to... well, you'll see. Tasks! What the flex? I'm going to clear existing plants and just plant flax. And the reason for this is we're going to need to prepare for clothing. So because we have a hunter supplying meat, we don't really need to grow food anymore, or at least not right now. And I'm just going to prepare the farm fields for as much flax as possible, so that we end up with lots of linen and thread to put clothing on our backs. Because in the wintertime, what ends up happening is if you don't have cold resistance gear, so like right now I have, you know, this hood which gives me 84 resistance and the shirt which gives me 210. You have a heat meter, which is the blue one in the bottom left, and the less clothing you wear, the faster you lose body heat, and as soon as you get to a critical level of body heat, you have to like go huddle around a fire to warm up. So in the winter, if you don't end up clothing your villagers, they'll spend almost all their time just like huddled around fires and not working. And for certain professions like hunters, that could be a downward spiral of starvation. So you really don't want to be in a situation where it's like, oh man, nobody's working because everyone's frozen to the bone. And then all of a sudden, like, you have no food and you're dead. So, that's why linen and flax is so important. So, once this terraforming project's done, we can lay out the workshop hut. And then, additionally, let's put long stick storage. Actually, maybe, it can't cross over the median. So long stick storage here. And log storage. And then another long stick storage. And another log storage, because there's two types of long sticks and two types of logs, so I'm accommodating both. And then we'll fit right through the middle there. This game looks extremely therapeutic and you're buying it? I'm glad you think so. I really enjoy it. And it's only really gotten better over each patch. Alright. Workshop hut, here we go. Perfect. And collect some of the bark and turn it into fibers to save on the flax that we're building up for the farm. Most of these... So I pinned the, Oh, well, the workshop hut just took all my bark. Never mind. But I pinned the workshop hut, so they're prioritizing that over everything else. Which is fine. So the extended green guides are where there can be potential extensions. Not all extended buildings are the same size. So, for instance, if you take a look at their original workshop, the loom here is physically smaller than the leatherworker. So there is the... When you're building the workshop hut, it shows you both. So, like, the furthest out is, like, the leatherworker size, and then the not without the extra bonus is the loom size. So that different extensions have different sizes. So this will this guide shows you, oh, well, if you build a loom or you build a leatherworker, that's how much space you're going to need. It's not exactly intuitive, but it's really important to plan ahead of time to make sure that you don't monopolize that the area, because then you built a workshop. Like, every workshop that you build, unless you know what you're doing and you're doing it not this way on purpose, should have space for 2 extensions on either side. Because the workshop themselves are expensive, so you don't... And there's not really a point to having, like, a lot of them. So, making sure that you're planning your workshop so that they can provide the maximum amount of size as possible is ideal. So while they're building the workshop, I'm gonna finish the warehouse stuff. And you can think of a warehouse worker as like a dedicated hauler. It's more or less what they are. Or supplier, however you want to think about it. I need more long sticks. We'll just make them. This is just normal music. During the, blood moons and the like, there might be music changes, but this is just day in the life of a Viking villager music. Will they pick up all the stuff in the ground and move them into the warehouse? Only if you have the appropriate warehouse storages for them, but yes. The warehouse people will collect whatever you want to collect. So, for instance, this is getting ahead of myself a little bit, but in order to make certain parts of carpentry, they end up with a draw knife, and draw knives produce an incredible amount of bark because they're essentially debarking trees. So your carpenter generates a crazy amount of bark everywhere, and you can add bark storage to your warehouse and then have your warehouse supply person collect the bark so that you don't end up with, like, bark everywhere as a, you know, as one example of the warehouse keeping your home clean. Now, we only need large stones for the workshop hut now, so we're pretty close to having that be done. Sounds like a good way to farm crafting XP? Yes. Yeah, the only XP that I've ever found that you need to farm a lot of is crafting. So I know I'm repeating myself, but it's one of the reasons why I do all the crafting tasks myself, because I feel the need to level it up more than any other XP. Because the high-level armor requires you to have a certain competency in crafting, and high-level armor is kind of the way to win fights. Because weapons are only so strong, and dodging only works so well, so if you want to survive more difficult fights, you need higher crafting XP. Oh, speaking of fights, Blood Moon is rising, and I just broke my axe. They are coming from the west-southwest, and I better get myself a tool to be able to defend myself, because I literally just broke my axe. Oh my god. Timing. It also might be wise for me to eat something, and I'll take meals for the road, so to speak. Oh, what the... Stop breaking my brand new warehouse, you jerk. Back up, please. So we have... I probably don't have the right 3 people assigned to the town guard, because I haven't actually looked at that in a while. But we do have town guardsmen. And if I blow the horn, they come rallying. So let's double check that. Town militia should be... Major Mildew, and... Oh, the new one. So not Unexpected, but John. As John has really high, like, battle-scarred veteran traits. Way better suited for combat than anyone else other than Mildew. And it ain't over. There's another wave coming in. Because the Blood Moon hasn't faded. Don't see him yet. There's still more. Minor spoiler. This isn't the only combat events that you end up getting. So there is a game mechanic called an invasion, which is like a super bad Blood Moon. But you're given a lot of advance warning to prepare for invasions. But invasions are like, you better have a town militia, you better have trained soldiers, you better have armor and arms, you better have an entire wall around your whole goddamn village, or you're gonna get smoked. The game will give you like a year's warning before an invasion, but if you're like, man, the combat seems really underwhelming, yeah, but this isn't an invasion where we're gonna get attacked by like dozens of monsters. It gets worse. Alright, where is the last one? Come on, just fight me already. There's spawners out here. Might be a Draugr this time. Where are you? I don't want to be stuck in a perpetual... Oh, yeah, it is a Draugr. A singular Draugr isn't too much of a concern. It's when there's a lot of them are a problem. Yeah, hi. Oh, you're a Draugr with a shield. That's annoying. I could make myself like a shield, but I've just been using my like crafting tools to fight. Get wrecked! And we're done. So the skeletons are harvested with a hammer. The wights are harvested with a knife. The draugrs are harvested with a mining pick. They are like stone golems, if you will. Like mini stone golems. But they're pretty tough. And there are different types of draugrs, but the higher level draugrs pack quite a wallop too. Some of them are really dangerous. So we're going to make our workshop hut with draugr corpse. Perfect. So the plan for this new hut is eventually to have the metalworker and the carpenter built off of it. But before that, we need a bloomery. So the metalworker needs a bloomery, and the bloomery... I mean, the carpenter needs a metalworker, and the metalworker needs a bloomery, and the bloomery needs a coal maker, and a coal maker I could build next, hypothetically. So, what to build next? Up to you. My 2 cents... Oh, don't vote for the workshop hut, because that... Well, I just built one. I don't need another one. My 2 cents, a cottage if you want my population to grow, a chieftain hut if you want me to have, like, a stamina bonus, or... the charcoal maker if you want me to start investing in metalwork. It also goes without saying, like, living next to a charcoal maker sucks badly, right? So, like, some of these businesses should not be, or industries, I should say, should not be anywhere close to your homes, or you will suffer big penalties. So as it stands now, I don't have any adjacent structures that are pissing off my people. My workshop hut is far enough away. In fact, it looks like the warehouse is far enough away that this warehouse is... my warehouse is not even a negative adjacency penalty. It's positive, but it's a good indicator that if I build a cottage that has the adjacency bonus for the warehouse, I'm getting pretty close to the workshops. Other storage I wanted in here. Well, we go into that in a minute. It does appear like charcoal maker seems to be the popular choice. Come on, stop fighting me. Thanks, Stochastic Turtle, for your two cents that didn't work initially. I appreciate the cheer. So the workshop hut here, I intend to have the carpenter be on the south side. So the carpenter will be around here, meaning that the metalworker will be here. There doesn't really need to be, like, it helps to have your metalworker near your bloomery and near your charcoal maker, but it's like not a big deal because for your bloomery and your charcoal maker and your metalworker, you make them in like batches, big singular batches, so it's not like a continual project. So that therefore you don't really need to worry about making them adjacent to one another, quite like the carpenter. What I am trying to do is to cut into this hillside as much as I can to make enough space for whatever else I want to place here. And I'm going to wait for the my helpers to come assist. So let's go ahead and make a charcoal maker next. Oh, I did it again. I need to put my hoe away. God. I keep making, like... I can use the road maker to put it back, but I keep, like, breaking my roads. It's dumb. So the coal maker, what I'd like to do, if possible, is to fit it in here. If I can shave away enough of the mountain to fit it in. So that it's right next to my metalworker. And then, subsequently, the bloomery somewhere in the same area. And keeping in mind that they're, like, gonna be as far away from housing as possible. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to shave this mountain, though. So if I can't, I'll put it somewhere else. Because I've kind of reached the vertical limit for this area already, as you may have noticed. And you eventually unlock a shovel, but in this game, shovels aren't really for digging. They're for planting trees. So they don't work to, like, excavate. This wall might make defenses annoying later on. No, it really won't. In fact, it's actually a defensive boon, because vertical cliffs like that will stop most enemies. So there might be a case where, like, a skeletal archer or a Draugr archer uses the height advantage to their advantage, but I could put a guard tower, you know, a watchtower, and just shoot, you know, it actually works to my advantage more than anything, I think. Alright, let's see how much more we can shave off this mountain. The other thing that we can use is the path maker. So the benefit of the path maker here is a path maker will, like, it's essentially like a ramp maker. So I haven't used the path maker before on this stream, but I'll show you what it looks like, where you connect two ends and it just levels out the path between them. So, making use of the path maker, we might actually be able to do, like, a sort of a stepped village. And, or to cut away like this, and then to lower the next height down again. Because the path maker can allow you to, you know, exploit ramps and the like. So, apologies for the kind of wonky earth moving that I'm doing, but it'll pay off, I think. And all the lack of smoothness is not a concern of mine. Because it's very easy to smooth things out. Actually, I bet we can... Well, no, it still doesn't want to be flattened. Yeah, it does. There we go. This is what I meant. So now... we're cutting it away. So we can cut away in sections if we need to. But this should be plenty of room for the charcoal and bloomery. That looked like a good wall. It did, a bit. And I wouldn't mind cutting away some of this back mountain so that we can more easily snake a path over here. So I'll use the same technique to shave away the other half. All right, coal maker. Still doesn't want to be put in here. It really isn't getting blocked by much. I guess I'll need to line it out a little bit more. Well, okie dokie. That's why I have builders. Thank you for tuning in to ASKA, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Vikings.